Hey, this is Donnie here at Tomorrow Group, eXp Realty. Hope everybody's doing great. And today I am going to go over the basics of getting a real estate license. I know I talk to a lot of people like, oh, I've thought about that, but I don't know how to get started. I don't know what it takes. Well, we're going to give you a lot of information today that will help you get going and get started. Of course, it varies by state, so you'll have to get some of the information for yourself also. So let's get going here. Number one, it does vary by state. As far as I know, every state requires you to take some form of real estate school. The number of hours can vary by state. The number of classes can vary by state. What's covered in the classes may even vary by state. Just know that you need to check out your state. It's usually a pretty easy Google search to find out how much school is required and where you can go to school. When it comes to school, there's two options, online or in person, and either one works. From my experience, just from agents we've tried to hire, more people fail if they do it online first, but that doesn't mean it's bad if you prepare. We have plenty of people who pass on the first try doing an online school as well. So decide if it's right for you to do it online or not, or if it's in person. The keys to it being in person, the reason why being in person maybe helps people pass more often on the first time is because, number one, you have an instructor that is usually an experienced realtor that tells you a lot of stories and can relate to things, and then you remember those stories when you take the test, and that can be really helpful. Number two, it keeps you on pace. So this is a warning if you do it online. I see a couple things that I think hurt people online. Number one, they take forever to get it done. I know it's hard. You've got a family, you've got maybe another job, whatever the case might be. And the last thing you want to do probably most days after you work hard all day for somebody else's dream, then you come home and take care of the kids or cook dinner, whatever it is you do, and then you got to sit down and try to study for real estate school. I know it's hard, and it's really hard to do that for a couple months in a row. Highly encourage you to do that. We see a lot of people who take 6, 8, 9 months to do the school, and then they've forgotten half the material, and then they fail the test. Or we see people who are really determined to get it done because they don't have a lot of spare time. They blast through it in 2 weeks, and then they fail the test. So take the school seriously. A higher number than you think failed the test on the first try. So take it seriously. Make sure you study. Make sure you apply yourself. Try to pick the school that is best for you, and it will pay for itself in the end, I promise, because you want to pass the first try if at all possible. I will also add, if you don't pass first try, has no indication of what kind of realtor you'll be whatsoever. I've known some amazing realtors that took multiple times to pass the test. So if you don't, you'll be better prepared the next time. Just go knock it out of the park. What I will tell you, most people who fail by 1 point. 2 points. Nobody ever goes in there and gets a 50 on the test that I know of. So apply yourself, because it is hard mentally and emotionally to go in there and fail by 1 point. So don't do that. So make sure you do apply yourself to whatever the school is for your state. The test, I've already talked a lot about it. There's a national and a state portion in every state that I know of. The national gets failed more often than the state. The good news is if you pass the state, fail the national, when you go back to retest, you only have to retake the portion that you failed. Just be aware that there are two portions. In my state, it's wrapped into one. It's just kind of one test. They break it into two sections. But just be aware that there are two portions of the test. There is a state and a national test. Be aware you need to be prepared that day. You need to have a good day. You need to be rested. You need to eat well that day. It is a serious test as far as getting past it. So be aware of all those test-taking techniques. And a little bonus for you here, I like nightbeforetheexam.com, www.nightbeforetheexam.com as an extra study site. Yes, it costs you a little bit of money, but it's less expensive than paying for the test the second time. So I think it's a great investment. Okay, So at some point in there, you've got to submit all your paperwork to the state. And I say at some point because some states pick a broker first. Well, I think every state you'll pick your broker first, but some you have to pick your broker before you can take the test and submit to the state. Some you pick your broker after you take the test, okay? So I'm going to kind of wrap submit to the state and pick your broker together here. So just know that you're going to have to pick your broker and submit to the state. I'll do a video in the future on some things to look for when you pick your broker, but I advise you to start thinking about the broker while you're taking the school before you submit to the state. If you have to submit to the state before you can take the test, you really need to start thinking about that broker early on. Obviously, I'm with eXp Realty. I think they're amazing. Obviously, if you're in Memphis, Tennessee, I've got the only eXp office. Come join me. We'd love to talk to you, and maybe you're a good fit or we're a good fit for you. I will do a full video on how to look for your broker, choose your broker. What I will say is the lowest commission is not always the best deal. A lot of real estate agents do not renew their license after the first 2 years. When I say a lot, I hear numbers anywhere from 80 to 60% do not renew their license after the first 2 years. Remember, you're starting a business, just like all other small businesses where 70 or 80% fail in the first 5 years. Real estate is the same way. So your broker can be important. And what I will say in this video, commission split is not the most important thing, period. Especially if you're new. Commission split is not the most important thing. The broker that will be available for you and help you sell houses and learn is much, much, much more important than the commission. And I'll also add that it's not all in the training. Training is very, very important. But if you don't implement any of the training that you learned, that doesn't matter either. So we'll talk about that more in a future video. So you pick your broker, you submit to the state at some point. It's usually fairly simple. A lot of states you can do it online nowadays. There's a few that you can't. You still got to mail it in. If you do it online or if you mail it in, they're going to typically give you a list of the things that they need. Such as in my state, it is fingerprints. You have to go get fingerprinted to pass a background check. It is your forms, because we submit to the state after we have passed the test. It is the forms where you pass the test, signed by your broker. It is ID. It is the certificates where you pass the 2 schools. So just be aware, whatever the instructions are, submit your paperwork appropriately. What I have seen is your paperwork goes much more smoothly if you submit everything at one time, pay the fee at one time. It's all there. The people at the state who are working the files, it's a lot easier on them to look at the file and go, oh, this person submitted all 8 items and they paid, boom, here's their license. That's the way to do it. If you submit half of it, they look at it, then it's got to be pushed to the side. You may or may not get notified that you're missing stuff. I've had people wait 3 weeks and then they call the state and they were missing one form that they didn't upload because they just didn't pay enough attention or whatever the case might be. The state isn't always going to baby you. Okay, you're starting a business. They may not call you and say, hey, you missed this form. They may just let you sit there and wait until you call them or until you look back online and see that you have something missing. So be aware of submitting your paperwork correctly. Once you have your broker submitted your paperwork to the state, sit tight. Your license is coming in most states, and you'll learn a lot of this, how your state particularly works. In my state, I believe they tell us it's 10 to 15 business days. I've seen them issue a license in 1 day, and I've seen it take 30 days. Recently, they've done an amazingly great job. They really seem to be dialed in this year, and it's been going really quickly as long as you submit your paperwork appropriately. Once you get your license back from the state, you are legal. In most cases, you're going to have to go join an association, whether that is your area association, the national association, and in our case, in a lot of cases, you're going to be joining 3 different associations. The one for your local city that handles your local MLS, gives you MLS access, kind of handles local complaints, that kind of stuff. One for your state that handles stuff at a state level, enforces state laws. Or they don't enforce state laws. Your real estate commission would do that, but enforces your state code of ethics and documents, that kind of stuff. And then the National Association of Realtors, which of course advocates for home ownerships and real estate agent. You'll have to know how to join those. In our area, we just join our local association, and when we do, they automatically join us into the state and the national. It makes it real easy. We just pay at one place. We apply at one place. So you may have to ask your broker exactly how that is done in your area. Typically, you are not a realtor until you join the association. The difference between a real estate agent and a realtor is a real estate agent has a license, period, issued by the state. So you are a real estate agent once the state issues your license. A realtor is somebody who has joined the National Association of Realtors, or what we call NAR, and they have agreed to abide by the Code of Ethics. And by agreeing to abide by the Code of Ethics, they are then able to be called a realtor. There is a difference between a real estate agent and a realtor. Most associations also have a time limit when you have to join them by once you've got your license. If your broker is a member of the association, it is usually a requirement that you join the association by that time frame there. So be prepared for that when you get your real estate license, that you're going to have to join the association, and that's going to cost some money as well. So there you go. Quick rundown of what you got to do. Once you join that association, you typically, in most states, are ready to sell real estate. Get with your broker in your state to make sure. One thing I haven't hit on yet is the money. How much money do you need to get a real estate license? I am sure this varies widely from state to state and probably even from city to city, because different associations are going to have different pricing to join and different ways of breaking down the pricing, that kind of stuff. All I can talk about is my area. In my area, I typically tell people $1,500 to $2,000. And that big variance comes from two things: what kind of school you go to and what month you join the association, because some items that are parts of the proration, the fees or the association fees are prorated and whatnot. So with that said, be prepared to spend the money. I recommend you have, in my state, $2,000. Hopefully you spend less. That way you've got some money left over in your pocket. What you don't want to do is spend $500 to get the license and not be able to join the association, because then you create issues for your broker and yourself. How do you save money getting your real estate license? One, online school is significantly cheaper than going in person, usually to the tune of about 70%, depending on the schools. Obviously, there can be some variance there, but there can be as big of a difference of 70%, meaning the difference between $200 to go online to get all your education and $600 or $650 to do it in person. So that's a huge difference. The other variance is joining the association. It is prorated. For us, it depends on what month we join. So I can't give you an exact number. Your state may vary widely from ours. I can only tell you what I'm familiar with in our state, but be prepared to have some money to invest. And that's a great question for the brokers that you're interviewing, is how much do you need to have? How much is it going to cost you total, including joining them, including paying for the state, paying for any background checks, the test, your joining your associations, that kind of stuff. Great questions to ask some of those brokers, and we'll get into more of how to choose a broker in another video. Hope this is helpful information for you, and if you need anything, always feel free to reach out, and hopefully this video helps you out. Have a great day.